Today, I'm going to show you how to paint these amazing, super fun, and colorful candy canes. And the first thing you have to do is get your supplies ready. So I'm going to walk you through what I'm using. So for paints today, I'm using Blick Studio Acrylic. They come in these cute little tubes. They're actually a part of a set of 48. Now this set of 48, you definitely don't need these, but you're going to want to buy all of these paints. And I've just picked out 9 for this project. So if you're trying to limit yourself, go with these 9. So we have titanium white, quinacridone magenta, primary red, cadmium red medium. We have a primary yellow over here, phthalo green, cerulean blue, Payne's gray instead of black, and ultramarine blue. I couldn't decide on the red I wanted to use and the blue I wanted to use, so I've got warm and cool reds, and that's gonna help me make purples and oranges. So that's why I have both of those. For brushes, I've got Blick Essentials. I'm gonna be focusing on the 3/8, 3/4, and 1/2 inch flat brushes. So that's the ones up here. These are the brushes that we're gonna be using. Extra things, I've got a glass of water, which I'll set over here. I'm gonna need a paint rag for wiping your brush. You can use paper towel. And I like to have a mister. This allows me to make sure my acrylics don't dry too fast. Now, of course, you're gonna need something to paint on. So I've got the Canson XL oil and acrylic pad because we're using acrylic paints today. And this is gonna be absolutely perfect. It's a nice textured, heavyweight paper. It's gonna be perfect for our project today. Okay, so to start our painting, and we're gonna be doing candy cane hearts today, what we're going to do is we're actually going to map out using pink or whatever color you like, we're actually going to map out our painting. And so to do this, I want you to think about making a heart in the middle of the canvas, not like a big round heart, but a candy cane shaped heart. And so you're gonna have very straight sides, and you're gonna have a crook or a bend up towards the top. And I am using a 1/2 inch brush or 3/4 inch brush. So my candy canes might be a little thicker than I might make them, but it's gonna be okay because once we place our paint on the top, we can always thin it out. So think about just making the shape with your 1/2 inch or 3/4 inch brush. You're gonna go all the way to the down. So these are your candy cane shapes. Your shadow is gonna be cast off to the right side, but this is a really good place to start. From here, we're going to take our smaller brush. So I think I'll switch to the 3/8 inch. And what we're gonna do is we are going to make our stripes. But to help us figure out where these stripes are gonna go, I'm going to use a little bit of white and a little bit of blue. And this pale blue color is going to help us just kind of map out where to put the paint, because that's the biggest question, right? How do we have the paint working around on this canvas? So what we're going to do is we're going to start at the top, and we're going to pull with kind of curvy lines. We're going to pull these lines down like this. Okay, right? You're adding the candy cane stripes. Okay, and each stripe is going to represent a different color. Around the curve, you can make that one a little thicker, just like so. This is a twisted candy, and that's what gives it the different colored patterns. So grab your, you can use white or you can use blue, whatever color you made your candy cane, just draw some stripes going all the way down, because this is going to tell us where to put our individual colors. Now we are going to put a whole host of rainbow colors inside this candy cane. So it doesn't really matter where you start, but you're going to want to go in order. So red, orange, yellow, green, and blue. You can change up the colors if you want, but I'm going to start with red. And what I want you to do is I want you to keep your colors fairly dark, because we have a shadow color, a base color, and a highlight. And what I mean by that is to create the depth in our candy cane, we're gonna need 3 variations of the same color. So to start, we'll put our red in. And we go red, orange, yellow, green, blue. So this last stripe is red again. That's how you can count it out. And then blue, green, yellow, orange. So we have no other red stripes on this candy cane. So now that I have red on here, we'll go to the other side, and I'm gonna start with my red stripe. I'm gonna put this red one right here, right in the curve of the candy cane. So we have a nice thick red stripe, red, orange, yellow, green, blue. The stripe right here is going to be red. So just count your colors out, name them out as you go, and as you find where your paint goes, add it to your canvas. When you're done, clean your brush, and now we'll mix up some orange. Now that I have orange, I'm gonna add orange, and we know that orange goes right underneath the first color, so I'm gonna add this color. And it's okay if it doesn't go over all of the paint you have on the canvas, totally fine. So we have orange, yellow, green, blue, red, red, this color right here. It's going to be orange. We have red, so we know that this color right here is orange. All right, our next color is yellow. I'm gonna take yellow and add a little bit of white to it to brighten it up and make it easier to see. So now that we have yellow, we'll place the yellow right here. And it's okay if you go over the stripes or the shape. When we put our background in, we'll be able to clean up our canvas and our candy canes. And we put yellow here. All right, our next color is green. I am going to use blue and yellow to create a green and a little bit of white. Once you've got your green, add it right underneath the yellow. And I know that this stripe right here is green. Red, blue, and this one right here is green. Our last color is blue, so I'm using Cerulean. Use this color to fill in the last sections of your candy cane. All right, if you have any spots where you don't have color like me, fill them in, just a couple more. Yellow right here. And then we have orange. With the tip of it being red. Okay, now that we have filled in our entire candy cane, what we're going to do is we're going to add a little bit of white to each of the colors we mixed out on our palette, and we're gonna place it right in the middle. So that white, brighter color is gonna go right in the middle of our stripes. So I'm gonna take some white and I'm gonna add it to my pink color. And you're gonna just go right in the middle like that. And you're gonna place this color in the middle or towards the left of your candy cane, okay? So there's color number 1. I'll bring this all the way to the edge. Wipe your brush, grab some white, and go into orange. And you're going to do this on all of the stripes with each color that you used. The last one that I want you to do is the blue one. So add a little white to your blue. Okay. Now, once you have that done, we're gonna go one more time through it, and you're gonna add even more white to your colors. You want a pastel version of each color. And you're gonna make a thin swipe in the middle of each color. The last one again is blue. And then yellow. And for the yellow, you can basically use white, depending on how dark your yellow is. Okay, so now that we've got our candy cane, what we're going to do is we're going to add the background. And I'm gonna grab my bigger brush, and we're gonna make this background a nice blue color. So I'm gonna grab ultramarine blue, some white, maybe a little cerulean. We're gonna make this a deeper blue background, and you need quite a bit of this color, so don't be afraid to mix up. Put a little green in here. Don't be afraid to mix up quite a bit. All right, once you have your color, we're going to place it all over the canvas. I'm gonna move this out of the way. Once you have your color, we're gonna go all around the candy canes, and we're gonna place this color everywhere, all the way to the edge. Sometimes twisting your canvas can make it easier for you to get those clean, straight lines for your candy canes. With acrylic paint, if you make a mistake while you work, you can just paint over it with your background or with the same color again. It is a very forgiving medium. So if you need to thin out your candy canes, you can absolutely do that, and now is the perfect time to do so. All right, so now that you have your heart background added, we'll bring our colors back over here like so. Now that you have all of this together, we are going to add the details and the background shadow. So the way that the shadow works for this is we have light coming in from this side and casting the shadow off to the right. So we are going to use Payne's Gray mixed with our background color to create a nice deep blue color. You can use black if you want, but we're going to use just a dark blue color. And if you'd like to use a smaller brush, absolutely feel free to, but what we're going to do is we're going to take this color and we're going to bring it around the right side of the candy canes. So stick that over here. And you're gonna drag your brush straight down, just like so. And then go back into the shadow color, and it's gonna come around the right side of the candy cane up here at the top. If you'd like to clean up the end of the shadow, go ahead and take your background color again. Just kind of tweak it like so. Now we're going to add the details to our candy cane. So to add the details, we're going to take this round brush. You can get it wet if you need to. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to go right into white. And we're going to use this white sparingly, but we're going to use it to kind of create the illusion of a wrapper and our brightest highlights, because we already added a couple here. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this color, and before we go into the white, we're going to grab a pale blue color, and we're going to use this very, very pale blue color to add the stripes back into our candy cane. And with acrylic, our painting dries fast. So we're going to be able to take this brush and go right along the stripes, just like that. So where you kind of see these pink lines still, go over that with this lighter color. This is going to make the individual stripes of our candy cane. And it's going to tell you where we're supposed to be putting this color. Okay, now that you have your candy cane stripes in, we're gonna go right into white. This is gonna be the brightest color we're using. We're gonna finish with this color and we're gonna use it to add highlights. You can add a little water to it if you want it to be a little more mixable. We're gonna use this white color. And this is gonna be what we use to add the final highlights, just tiny little, very bright dots of color. We're gonna add it along the right or the left side, near the top, right in the middle of those bright layers of color we created. And then we're gonna take the same color, you can mix it with that pale blue if you'd like. We're gonna use it to just create the illusion of a wrapper, and this is up to you, but candy canes have that really tight, clear plastic wrapper on them. So I'm gonna take this color and the same brush, and I'm just gonna very thinly draw around the outside of my candy cane. And with acrylic, you can cover up anywhere that you make a mistake. Let's take this color and just really thinly go in a couple places where the light might catch that wrapper, like on the ends. Or the corners. The last thing we're gonna do is we're going to sign our name. You can use whatever color you'd like. I'm going to sign my name in pink. And to do this, just thin out your paint, add a little water to it. And then you're done.